Welcome everyone. Thank you for attending. And this is an ongoing teachings on this analytical meditation on 6 paramitas. And tonight we're going to look at the on VIRYA paramita. VIRYA means diligence or right effort or joyous effort. Word VIRYA has a meaning of a courage, sense of courage. And that means your enthusiasm is that empowers you to do that you usually wouldn't even set out to do. So even the practice of generosity and self-discipline and tolerance, motivated however much by altruism, if you don't have the right effort, required effort, we do not get to do any of them very well. So therefore, it is mandatory requirement to have diligence. We will interchangeably use the various words because diligence may not always echo. Joyous effort probably is another better word, or generally speaking, enthusiasm. So nature of diligence is that which it's actually set out to your mind into doing things. You are the doer, you are a performer, into doing good, and you have joy, you have effort, and you have togetherness, and you're formidable, and therefore things get done. Things get done, and if we do things well, then we are happy. Our happiness comes from doing things that are good, with a good motivation, carefully done, no time wasted, and the benefit is pretty much obvious. So our joy comes from doing good things. So therefore, diligence is about how to manage your energy and fun and channel it skillfully, so that we do not lose our energy dissipatingly somewhere, and we have nothing to show at the end of the day. Lots of people spend time not much happening, and it often depresses them, often makes them feel unworthy, often makes them feel they have no goal or nothing good to do. So diligence is a very powerful, because our diligence here is the motivation is for the benefit of sentient beings, So therefore, it is not so much what you do, but the intent must be altruism. It has to be small, diligent. It doesn't mean you have to lift mountains. It doesn't mean that what you do is that everybody notices. It doesn't have to be a wow. It is something very discreetly you do, but you still find joy in it. That's called joyous effort. Yeah. And I find a lot of joy in my work because it is by nature good for me. I don't know how good it is to others, and it is always good for me. I couldn't think of doing anything other. So I have total faith that if I remain committed to do little Dharma works, my life is useful, at least to me. And to others as well. So that makes me really joyful. And any other things that life goes down or doesn't go well, they're so easy to accept. They're just the debris of the good that you did so much. And so those are just the wood chips, Those are the chips of the wood from which you made the furniture, So you don't think they're wasted, and they cannot make you depressed, sad, or lost. You don't feel that. That's diligence gives you joy. Joy is legal. Joy is permissible in Dharma. Pleasure, not so much. They say it's going to ruin you. It's not going to get you anyway. In the end, it will ruin you. Joy is not dependent on sensory objects. Joy is dependent on good you do and where your heart thrives. So this listening of Dharma you have and coming. This should be cause of our joy. You know? This energy that brings you here on Tuesday night from your home, traveling good 10, 15, 20, who knows, 30, minutes to reach here, get a park, leave everything aside, but prioritize doing this and doing that, saying it has more good to me and others, so must do. This kind of regular consistency and is cause of joy. That's the nature of diligence. Diligence, other things people are diligent for a little while, but they regret that they did that 10 years. They wish they didn't do that. They wish they wasted that 5 years doing that, and they never find subsequent joy about it. But anything good like dharma that you do, you never have subsequent regret. So why it's a joy. We say the prayers, may all beings have happiness that does not turn into misery. That's joy exactly. So doing good. Nature of diligence like that. But however, to be diligent, it has many obstacles. So therefore, cause on the demerit of laziness. Now that brings us. Laziness is the main suffering and cause of suffering. Not being able to have diligence. Laziness is the noble truth of suffering. Not the truth of the origin of the suffering. In terms of not getting the diligence working. If you have suffering, it's because your origin of your suffering is laziness. Therefore, your life suffering comes from due to laziness. So origin is laziness in relation to diligence. In relation to other things, it's slightly different. That's why Buddha's Four Noble Truth is very interesting. So truth of origin is laziness, and truth of suffering is the suffering of not getting things done. Okay, so what are the cause and demerit laziness? The cause is lack of action. Person isn't set out to do things. He doesn't have things to do list on his diary for that day. Meeting a friend for a coffee at 3 o'clock. Is that what you're going to do whole day? Wow, that's a very hollow day. So lack of action. Just get something happening. Prayer, do meditation, all those things happening. Actions. Study, read, meditate, do your sadhana, do your meditation. Those things should be prominently featured as actions. I look forward to these classes, for instance. I'm sure you look forward to it. Otherwise, I wouldn't see you. So we are in the right place. At least once a week. And the cause of laziness is attachment to mundane activities. If you attach to other mundane activities that's never finishable by doing, then that's what makes us not to be able to take action doing good things that bring us joy. That's mundane activities. Attachment to taste of idleness. It's much easier to lie inside the bed. So nice, with water bottle, with the soup, and with the cat here. It's so easy to enjoy, isn't it? It's so much liking that, Why you want to go out in the cold when you can do all the above? So, attachment to sleep, you want to sleep in, you don't want to get out of the bed, or it's like that. You don't want to sit up in the cold or do this. So these are the demons. These are the cause of the laziness. And second, another cause is self-discouragement. Always discouraging yourself from doing it. It's too much for your body. You're too tired. You have a hard week. Can you do that again? You went there already on Tuesday. You're gonna do that? Oh was discouraging. It's a bit too much. You go twice a week, as you're going to be punished before you did too many. You know. Quite a lot of students in the old days, when they come so many times, that their partners really feel, what are you doing there so many times? So they will discourage you, you know. So that's, you got to skillfully argue with them. Look, I'm coming home very patient and very courteous. This is because I do these things. So don't you think it's a great loss? You know, I'm coming joyful, tolerant, and understanding because I do this. Then you're not going to self-discourage, saying, oh, I have to do this, oh, I have to do this, as if you are losing some power. So don't self-discourage.
No, my partner says, go.
Exact opposite.
Go.
Exact opposite. Yeah, quite a lot of people say that. Yeah.
You're so much happier now.
Yeah,
Go.
yeah, that's good. So once you have benefit of doing the manifestation, then others want you to go. They say, "Oh goodness gracious, she goes there." I know one couple up north. You know, they and the wife is so happy that husband goes play golf, so she can do dharma. And vice versa. Vice versa. So neither of them discourage each other. Controlling partner would be otherwise. Yeah. So those are the cause and demerit of laziness. And then now our question is, because diligence is about overcoming laziness. How to overcome laziness? How do you overcome laziness? By thinking the waste of time. So you have to identify that you are wasting time. Time is precious, and you must make sure that time is not wasted. Time is not wasted, and time is very important. If anything is precious, it's because you have time. You know, if your milk bottle is precious, it's because it's durable until then. If a milk bottle is not good after the 4th of September, so it have to be used before that. So if one is not using the milk even on the 3rd of September, then of course the milk will go wasted. Yeah. So a waste of time. If you think of I'm wasting time, then you will overcome laziness. Yeah? And one is by thinking of death. If you think of death, then you will not waste time. Then you will not put off. You don't want to put off or be lazy. Another is by thinking the inevitability and suddenness of death. When you think of death, it makes you to whip the diligence. Another is by thinking of rarity of precious human life. You realize, my life is very precious. It's difficult to get a good opportunity like this. I'm wasting my time if I'm not doing. Then you can overcome laziness. Otherwise, the self-discouragement, comfort to sleep, idleness, procrastination, all the problems we talked about, they get a say. And you don't get a say. By thinking of the law of cause and effect. When you die, whatever you do, no, not only death, but even in this life, whatever you do yesterday, you experience the benefit of it if you did good. If you didn't do anything good yesterday, you feel very miserable today because you feel bad what you didn't do. So the law of cause and effect, very obvious, the effect of it. Then by thinking of the cause and effect, it empowers you to not fall prey to laziness. And then because of cause and effect, you know. When you're creating the cause, it's a little bit cumbersome. But when you think of the effect, and it motivates you. So benefit of bodhicitta, or act of kindness, is very demanding on effort. But when you do it, it returns very good benefit. So because of that, we can overcome laziness. Yeah, we came to do the class. We say, it's good to go. Good to do the teachings. Then it makes me so intelligible. Even though it takes this effort to do, but it's good. So because cause and effect very clear, you know. what was our mind before like? What was our attitude like before? Before we used to think I'm a victim, I wasn't loved, I don't have this, I don't have this. But now, after having heard the teachings, we have completely changed our attitude about it. We don't no longer think like that anymore. See, that's already a good effect of the teachings and the reading, and therefore you can see the outcome is very obvious. That's how you overcome laziness. So, now, classification of diligence are actually three types of diligence. Three types of diligence the text mentioned: armor-like diligence, gathering virtue-like diligence, and benevolent diligence of helping others. Now, going through each of these, first is armor-like diligence. The word armor means like when a person going to fight, to a battle or something, or even say like a little small game, when he's wearing the mouth guard or whatever it is that they wear, all this, they put mouth guard and knee guard and whatever, when they feel like going stronger because they're wearing the right gears, So when you have diligence, you actually feel like that. You have a real diligence, it doesn't mind the hardships. Yeah? So overcome faintheartedness to do things for the benefit of enlightenment. So whatever hardship there is, you don't mind. Yeah, because you're armored. You're wearing an armor plate, You're bulletproof car, you drive wherever, no problem. If you have just a normal car, you worry, you can't take this. So your mind is enamored, empowered by the diligence for the benefit of sentient beings. Your diligence is altruism. Your diligence is motivated by altruism. Therefore, it's like armor. We talked about that, isn't it, on the first night when we talk about armored bodhicitta. When your mind is enthused by diligence, bodhicitta, then the diligence or motivation is much stronger and more formidable. It's like plated, gold-plated. Armor-like diligence. And if you have armor-like diligence, how do you know? You can abandon fear through positive comparisons. Otherwise, people are not doing things, I wouldn't do it, I may fail, I may not do it. So they give many reasons for not doing it, But if you have these, you abandon the fear, abandon the fear through positive comparison. If he can do it, why can't I do it? Shantideva says, people who are fishermen, people who are hunters, just to get a mouthful of food for the evening, were willing to forbear all hardships of the elements, in the wind, in the cold, in the sea, and with their legs, whole half body, always in the water all day. He says, if they can be so diligent for that, why can't I be diligent for the benefit of all sentient beings? Yeah, so that is called abandon fear through positive comparison. You positively compare why your diligence is warranted. If we can copy diligence even of the fishermen, just to make a living, they're willing to do that. They may only get a half a dozen fish a whole day, but they're quite willing to stand in the cold for a whole day. Very little reward, but still very diligent. They know exactly what time of the day is best to go, where, and so forth, Amazing what they know about the plight, where the fish goes. And sometimes you can see they've been there 3 hours, buckets got only a couple of days there. Still diligent. It's windy, it's raining, it's cloudy. Wouldn't stop them going. Why are they so diligent? Just for the sake of little food. Why can't I do that? So that's called fear of, abandon the fear through positive comparison. Because when people otherwise do it, they're frightened. I can't do this. Or look at him, when he did this, he didn't get anything, or it might also happen to me. Then they use the negative reason and then discourage by using negative comparison. But diligent people use positive comparison. Huh? Can you see? By thinking of by knowing the hardship is reduced through practice. You should know that armor-like diligence means hardship that you face, it will be reduced. If you find something hard for you, it's because you're not familiar with it, because you haven't got a knack of it, because you haven't got up to it yet. So you have to get used to it and up to it, and then when you are used to hard, then it gets easier. Going doesn't get tougher when you get used to it. So hardship will be reduced, and by thinking of the benefit of right effort, you should think, even though it's hard when you're not familiar, but when you really put the benefit in the long run, it's amazing. It's just unthinkable. It's like an inestimable benefit. Like Buddha's effort to sit under the tree. Hard, difficult, cold, dry, windy, wet. But his whole effort become cause of enlightenment. Now, the benefit of that is just inestimable. You cannot put an estimate to the benefit of the VIRYA Paramita of Shakyamuni Buddha, VIRYA Paramita of Milarepa, or whoever practiced. It's because they basically gave their body and mind and spirit for the practice, not for temporal comfort and indolence of it, never minding the hardships, by foreseeing the inestimable benefit for people like us to reap the benefit. And that's what makes us to feel armored and strengthened, mobilized. And so that's an example of armor-like diligence. So when you're doing the diligence, you have to feel indomitable. You're fearless. Yeah. And then second is gathering virtue diligence. Gathering means you're able to gather, means you go and collect what you don't have. Yeah. You do what you don't do. You improve what you didn't succeed. You review what you failed. And you amend what you didn't do well. So that is gathering. Gathering, isn't it? You're going to collect the resources. Gathering virtuous things. You know, if you don't know what is being diligent, you know what is bodhicitta. You try to learn what is bodhicitta. And so you go and listen to the teachings. This is already gathering virtue diligence. Because you come to learn the Dharma, isn't it? Because then you know, that's how diligence is. That's how discipline is. That's how tolerance is. Because you're collecting Dharma, reading it, studying it, talking, discussing with your friends. When you do that, you're collecting wholesome, virtuous qualities, and you are using your energy to do that. You're getting up, you're reading books, you're doing things. You're doing things. You're not showing weariness. You're doing happily. That's gathering virtue diligence. If you do things but then you show weariness, that's not diligence. That's become cause of weariness and then showing resentment. Lots of people do, but then they show resentment. Why? It lacks the diligence. If it's diligent, it has no subsequent or future regret or weariness. So as an analytical meditation, we must do something, and instantly when we do, we think, it's not my doing alone. It is assisted by him or her or them. I'm just a small piece of a puzzle. There are many, many other things that make it possible. So you don't own the deeds by yours. You think the deed is made possible by many things. Then you don't show resentment. That's a VIRYA Paramita. Non-attachment to your effort. People will do a lot of things, then they get attached to the effort. That is the idiot diligence. Diligence that is idiot. Stupid diligence. Diligence that has no benefit, but only tires your body, exhausts your mind, and you feel resentful that you did all that for somebody. We all suffer that, so many times. People do so much things, but then they're destroyed by their lack of wisdom. They think they did it on their own. They don't realize it. It was a great honor to do that. it was assisted by many others. Indirectly, it was many people assisted that. You know, we might have delivered the pizza, but people made the pizza. People made the cardboard box. People designed the pizza. People did people rang. People ordered. All sorts of this. You know. So one shouldn't show the weariness. This is what you know. And so gathering virtue diligence is undisturbed by suffering. Yeah, when you face difficulties, you're not disturbed by suffering. Why are you diligent? You're wearing armor, and you know it's a virtue to be not disturbed by suffering. Yeah, and people, as soon as suffering comes, they get discouraged. But when you have virtue gathering diligence, you think it's good to overcome that aversion to suffering. Yeah, so because of that, you are undisturbed. Miyowa, it means not shaking in Tibetan, not shaking by hardships. Yeah, but steadfast, not shaken by sufferings, endowing perfect path, knowing that this is the actual path. This enduring the hardship is the real path. Doing easy way is just not going to go very far, you know. So hard though it is, I must persevere. So that is the kind of very foreseeing mind. The mind foresees the benefit, and so can endure hardships now because you know it's correct path. Through familiarization, they say, I'll get better at it. I just started only recently. You know, previously I didn't do this, it was very difficult. Then I did this many times, I got better. So practice makes it perfect, they call it. I just started recently, and I should do it more often. So you be very competent and very optimizing, saying, I'll get better at it. You know? So have the amazing sense of you're gathering virtue by very self-encouraging, isn't it? Diligence is self-encouraging and very, very optimizing attitude. Laziness, exact opposite. Self-discouragement, always think it's too much, can do later, have another opportunity, always procrastinating and postponing and delaying and delaying, they call it. delay. Always put it off, you know. And so one diligent people don't do that. The benevolent diligence of helping others is that you're diligent. Some people are diligent too. The fisherman is diligent too. He's diligent to kill fish. So not all diligence are good diligence. Diligence has to be benevolent. Benevolent means beneficial to others, as well as your time, your energy, and an outcome of your hardships is very good for others. So benevolent diligence, we were talking last week, for instance, whatever you do, always helping other beings, you know. One of the benevolent discipline has to have benevolent diligence. You have to do things for others. You know it's beneficial to them. Even though you have to get up and do a little bit more and stay late or do things, you realize that's the right thing to do. That's the purpose of living, is to serve, offer service, benefit to others. And so the person isn't not in himself anymore. It's always showing, joyfully doing for others and not minded. That is benevolent diligence of helping others. Huh? Nursing the sick. Huh? Repaying the kindness. You have to be diligent to repay the kindness. You don't postpone it. You just have to do it, you know. And relieving financial and emotional sufferings of others. You're diligent, you know. If you are a social worker, you go and do that. You show diligence that you care about your customers or patients or friends, and you don't show any sort of, I've got so many things to do, but I suppose I have to do this too, type of thing. Show much enthusiasm, so delightful. Have pride in the job and positions. That is, believe in your job, you know, that it is service. Not only is it a service, it's paid to provide the service. It's even better. Even better, you know. So, better in the sense that you have good reason, because they have reason to get that done. We might think it's an unnecessary thing. We might think, why is he making me do this? But they have a reason to have that done. So at least they are very, very task orientated. They want you to do there by 8 o'clock in the morning. Why? They have to get it done this by 4 p.m. And so they have a task. And so you are doing it. So diligence is such an important thing. So you can look back to last week's handout, in relation to the benevolent diligence of helping others. All those benevolent disciplines we mentioned, there are about 18 points there. You go and look at there. So delighting others, offering encouragement, providing material needs for others, harmonizing other people who are warring, and able to able to subdue and change others. Diligent. You have to be diligent to change, and not overnight, not on the first few weeks. You should just keep doing it, keep going. It will change. You just have to persevere. Diligence also means perseverance. It doesn't mean the instant benefit. You have to have vision that this will take time, but it will happen. So they say in a Tibetan, dola ikung puk means if you're diligent, your bare finger can put a hole through the rock. Bit extreme, but keep poking, they will. A lot of prisoners do that. They just do this, and they made a hole through the wall. Just one finger, every little bit. It's amazing, And look at the tunnels. Where did the tunnel digging idea come from? Finger digging. And then they invented big machines and look like finger drilling. It starts from small things. Yeah, it's very, very important. Okay, so those are the three main types of diligence: armor-like gathering, virtue, and benevolent diligence. Even though you're armored to do good, even though you're able to collect virtues, you really do. But if it hasn't got the benevolent motivation to benefit others, it's not a VIRYA paramita. It has to be motivated by bodhicitta. So how to train in these above three diligence? First, recognizing the cause of diligence. Just as we know the cause of laziness, what is the cause of diligence? Cause of diligence is faith. You have to have faith in yourself that you can do it and you are committed to it. You have to see a good motivation, that you have to have faith. And then you have to show determination. Determination means that your faith is not allowed to sit in this blind faith. It's faith followed by action. It's called determination. Faith is followed by action. And the determination makes the action consummated. And it has to be right effort. Right effort is incremental effort, not one-off big effort and no follow-up. Right effort is incremental. Slowly poking the finger, not instantly trying to do that. Unless even as butter, you wouldn't do that, let alone raw. So it has to be incremental. Slowly, incrementally, you practice with determination. You saw the person there first week, he's still there. Second week, he's still there. Third week, he's still doing that. You can see the determination, huh? You see someone doing a little bit, and then next week you don't see anything. There's no determination. Just a false start. Just a quick start, lot of gas, nothing after that. Lot of enthusiasm at the beginning, unfollowed by action. Unfollowed by, that is not determination. That's just, I don't know what it is. Definitely not diligence. So, determination followed by right effort. Right effort means person feels very good. Person doesn't regret his effort. Therefore, he's increasing. As right effort, does right effort do? Right effort eliminates faults, existing faults. It gets you drop past fault, and it stops collecting new faults. That's right effort. And it gathers new qualities. it doesn't degenerate previously existing qualities. That's a right effort. So if you're doing something, you must improve on it. That's incremental. Yeah? And you are not denigrating it, you're not degenerating it. So right effort has four of those qualities. And this gives you the pliancy. Pliancy is physical, very, very serviceable. Body is not discouraging itself. And the mental pliancy is, mind is able to persuade the body. Yeah? Because mind wants to do it, the body says nothing. Body says, no, you can do it. I'm not going to do it. I like the comfort of bed. The mind says I should do it. But mind, body is not, and the spirit, they are not talking, you know. Mind pulls one way, body pulls another way, and body usually gets it. So that's the laziness. So it's very, very heavy, you know. Body is heavy. Mind is light, you know. The heavy one win, light one lose. So you don't get enlightenment. Light is winning, darkness is losing, is good sign. Okay, so these are the cause of diligence. Cause of diligence is faith, determination, right effort, and pliancy. And if you have these, what will you do? You will be able to reject rejection of its hindrance. What's the hindrance? Is laziness. You will then reject the hindrances. Hindrance is the rejection. First, you have to. Will you be able to recognize the hindrance? People who don't have diligence don't even recognize what is the hindrance, because they're enjoying the comfort. They don't see the hindrance. So when you're diligent, you recognize the hindrances. When you recognize the hindrances, you know how to abandon them. Yeah, it's just logical. It's a very logical. Dharma is very analytical. This is what analytical meditation is. You are meditating now as we talk about it. Your mind is saying, wow, that's right. And another point is made, yeah, that's right. And then another sort of weak point is made, and you will wonder what's going to happen with that. And then another argument is over. And then you say, yeah, that's right. So there's almost this incremental logical conclusions that your mind become analytically convinced the importance of diligence and fault of laziness, whether it's mundane activities or socially beneficial activities, spiritual activities, whatever it is. Even personal activities, people who are successful are diligent. Let alone the enlightenment of very, very socially beneficial things also will come from diligence. It will not come from your wealth, it will not come from your status or recognition or reputation, all of these things. Their name has gone, finished. Nowadays, world is very intelligent. They want to award the person who performs it. Not because it's a family group, not because of his race or caste, not because he is a royal family, not because his uncle is some great person. Not like that anymore. In the old day practice that all the time. Called nepotism, called favoritism, corruption. Actually, these days is corruption. These days is called corruption. Isn't it? These days in the first world it's called corruption. In the second world, third world, they call them favoritism, nepotism. But actually it's corruption. Now, in first world countries where people are all educated, they see that very clearly. So they must be diligent to perform themselves. So therefore, you can recognize the hindrance very clearly. When you recognize hindrance, you know those are the things to be abandoned. And what are the things to abandon? How to abandon them? You will prevent procrastination. You will prevent procrastination, which means postponing. Some things you have to postpone because something came out of the blue and you have to make it reasonable. Some things you have to postpone because you can't fit it all, because this is more important, so one got relegated. But if the main good things get relegated, always postponed, all the unnecessary things happen. That's what in every people's life. going to the party, or sort of lying in the sun, get a president, get a recognition, doing the other good things get postponed. Oh, let's do it next Sunday. Let's do it next Sunday. The other thing stuff happens every day. So that's sort of it. So we have to prevent procrastination, prevention of attachment to bad deeds, If you're attached to doing other deeds that are not so useful things, we have to prevent them, because we realize these are the obstacles. So you know how to recognize them. If you have no obstacle, you don't know how to recognize, you don't know what to overcome. Diligent person knows that. He knows how his effort is not bearing fruit, because he can't recognize the hindrances. Because he can't recognize hindrances, how can he reject hindrances? Isn't it? You can't recognize the problem you don't know you have. So, when you talk about diligence, you have to talk about the antithesis of it. And that is laziness, that is procrastination, that is delaying, and so on. And attachment to bad deeds, People are not diligent because they are lazy, because they're busy being lazy. Busy saying, busy, I'm busy today. So busy with laziness. It's not that they're not free, they're not free because they're busy. Busy what? Busy being lazy. So, yeah, prevention of self-discouragement. Oh, this is too much for you, too much for my back, or too much for my effort, or like that. So, we have to prevent those things. Prevent means stop them from occurring. Okay? And what are the things you've got to prevent? Indolence, discouraged by risks. Some people say, "Oh, this is too risky. This will take a lot of time. I'll be tired. I'll be exhausted. Couldn't get up in the morning if I had to stay up so late doing these things." They think it's a risk for their job tomorrow. Of course, it can be if you stay up too late. So you have to be realistic. You've got to be diligent for your work as well. So if you become lopsided, you do too many things, and that ignores your actual other responsibility, it becomes lopsided. So then you do one aspect very well, the other aspect not so well. And that's what happens to many people. They work, and they neglect the spiritual and other well-beings of life. And that's exactly this is trying to address, try to bring a reasonable balance. And so, and therefore, you're not discouraged by risks, not discouraged by duration. Oh, it goes on 2 hours. Lama is so long-winded. I'm not saying you do, but it should be 1 hour. It would be very good. Sometimes I think like that to myself. I say, maybe this Tuesday night is a bit too long. 1 sweet hour might be better. I'm considering it. You see what I mean? Of course, I'm not discouraged by duration, but sometimes, if it's long-winded, it's not so interesting. Yeah. They say, there's another long-winded Buddhist ceremony. It goes for a long time. I have to always try to collapse it, try to fit in maybe no longer than 2-hour sessions. In Tibetan Buddhist monasteries, it goes for 6-7 hours. You just if you have to go out and take a break, you can, but they will not. They go on and on and on like that. So most people are. They say 45 minutes. They say, your talk goes more than that. They say, surprised that even university lecture is only 45 minutes. Because their studies have shown people can't really pay attention so long. But they don't realize this is a different thing, This is not materialism, this is spirituality. Spirituality should give you more energy than it takes. So therefore, there's no risk. Safe. It's a safe, because most people who are not diligent, they always find excuses. They say, it's so early. goes so long. It's so awkward. I have to go straight after my work and then don't get to have a dinner and, whatever. People usually always find a little risk there. But if you're diligent, no, you arrange all things around it, it works perfectly fine. I've changed a bit in myself last few years. In the past 4 or 5 years ago, I used to have dinner every night, and then I've changed myself not to have dinner on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So that I'm free. So that I don't have to think of dinner before coming or after finishing. Just cancel the thing. Because it hasn't given me much but other than a big belly. So which I can do without. So it's not a risk to me that to mix the risk, to miss the dinner. It's a benefit for me. So you should argue. Instead of risk to you, it's beneficial to you. So this is diligence. See, this is armor-like diligence. This is gathering diligence of virtue. This is benevolent diligence because your argument is very positive. Yeah, you should think like that. I'm sure you're doing that. So if you have recognized the cause of diligence and you have recognized the hindrances, you know how to prevent them, then how are you going to gather the beneficial factors? So these are 4. Power of determination, which we talked about. Power of determination. How do you know you have power of determination? And get started by a set timeline. So you don't say, I'll do it sometime, but not actually have a starting time. You've got to put a time when you're going to start it. So that like say, I'm going to do this once a week, this twice a week. At home, I'm going to do this once a day for half an hour. Whatever it is, you just honor them. You make a time and you write them and you honor them. And you will feel really good that I did that, said I'll do that, I did, done. I said I'll do that, done. And then you feel really, really happy. And that makes people, good effort makes people happy. Power of stability to maintain joyous effort. You don't just do it for the sake of saying I did it, but did it joyfully. Not do it just for the sake of materialism. Saying I did it 15 times, I did it 5 months, don't like. Joy must be there. Yeah? So joyous effort. You're still joyous as you're starting today. Your enthusiasm looks like fresh enthusiasm. Always fresh enthusiasm. Not a aged enthusiasm, Lots of people's enthusiasm is aged and wearied, and they say, I've been doing this 10 years, I need a break. The people say, I need a break. They say you have to do 3 uncountable yawns. Don't say that I've been doing this the last 10 years, I need a break. And people ask me, Rinpoche, when are you going to retire? I say, oh gosh. Such an inauspicious thing to ask, really. You should ask people to retire. You're not going to do good. If you believe what you're doing is really almost you wish that you don't have to do, you're doing just for the money, yeah, you can ask that, I think. We must bring more meaning to our job than then it brings a roof and cloth and food and medicine. We must bring our humanity. We must bring the goodness with that. Then you don't retire so much. You're not so exhausted to get tired. And power of joyfulness in action. How do you know? How do you know you're employing the joy of diligence? Is that when you're doing, there's a lot of joy in it. It doesn't look like you're not very happy. You really have to do it, I suppose. Someone needs to do it, otherwise who will do it? Not that kind of joy is the prominent quality. And the effort is very, very, therefore, lighter. It's not draining effort. When you have joyous, your effort doesn't drain you. Your effort increases your energy. Increases your energy, doesn't decrease your energy. That's the matter. Giving willingly is a joy for giving. Giving unwillingly is just a cumbersome, obligation. No, it's not an obligation. It's a joy. They say pleasure. When somebody does something willingly, they say, when you say thank to them, they say thank you. You say thank you to them, they say pleasure. But other people, they say thank you. They just thought, yeah, it wasn't really good enough. That's not enough. I need more than that. They sort of did it resentfully or not totally willingly. Then there's a lot of not joy. Part of freedom from laziness and procrastination. Now that is the sign of a benevolent, diligent. You're doing without any sign of laziness and procrastination. Even when you finish it, you don't show a sigh of relief. You don't say, oh, finally finished. What a relief. You don't do that. You finish it, you say, wow, what's next? A rest for the benefit of sentient beings? Yes, of course. Even rest is very delightful. It's not a kind of sigh of relief, Oh, wish I don't have to do that. Finally finished, thank goodness. In Tibetan we're saying, Chakya Hushinala Zo means after 100 prostration, the person did a long sigh, he blew it all away. You know what, when you do 100 prostration, like this is an example, Then at the end of it, you do that, they say, he blew away all the 100 prostration by his sigh of relief. So if you're diligent, you should not do that. You should do it steadily and slowly, and still at the end of the finish, you have a joy, almost like a reluctance to finish. This is VIRYA Paramita. It gives you this amazing right effort energy. It didn't drain and removed your energy, but it gave you the energy. And so therefore, you're striving with these two. You strive with armor-like diligence and a diligence of gathering virtue in order to practice benevolent diligence. And if you do that, you're both physical and mental serviceability. You're more able, willing, no dissuading, no discouragement. Mentally also able to encourage the body, So mind and body are both now serviceable, means active. Some people say, I'm out of action. They're out of action. And they try to get compensated. They try to get compensation while they're out of action. It's the opposite. They're not doing anything, but they want to be compensated. This materialistic society thinks like that. So one should, even if you're not doing the real job, but you can do some other things because you're compensated. Even you're unemployed because you are receiving some kind of benefit or pension, but still do other things happily. It's really good because society is bestowing these things to you. Particularly in Australia, it's a shared economy. With all developed countries are like that, isn't it? People who don't have work due to illness or whatever, they are still doing a lot of good. They are not regarded as a burden. They are regarded as client. They are a client, of the Department of Social Security, definitely so. And that means they are client and benefactors of the... So the other working people are the benefactors that actually pays. So they have to diligently fill in the form. They went for job interview 40 times. I don't know, whatever. Somebody I know, they said they haven't got a job. They have to prove that they have had a job to say they have been looking for a job, which is a job. Yeah, to prove that you have had a job, to looking for a job, to say that you have applied this many, and you could prove that, is it? So basically, they're also working. So one doesn't feel as one isn't doing something. Just joyful. Instead of thinking I am an unemployed, I haven't got a job. One should still, do the job application happily every day. It's a very joyous effort, Just as an example, Example. And so this brings us to the, I'm going fairly quickly through this tonight because it's such a logical teaching, isn't it? A joyous effort, particularly in relation to the Shila Paramita we're talking, Shanti Paramita we're talking about, like transcendental practice of self-discipline, transcendental practice of tolerance. So if you show the diligence in doing those above, then they're all integrated, they're interpenetrative. These paramitas are, it's just like 5 fingers of the same hand, So you can't move one finger without the rest of the other parts of the hand, So like that, diligence is related with the discipline and the other things. So application of this practice, as we discussed before, should be freedom from 7 attachments. So freedom from the attachment to other activities. So other activities could be mundane, worldly activities, but main activity that you are trying to have diligence with should be motivated by bodhicitta. With the bodhicitta intention, it doesn't have to exclude other activities. Say if you go to work with the bodhicitta intention, you shouldn't think that as an attachment to other activities. The question is, most people do many things even without the bodhicitta teachings, So therefore, but if you're able to incorporate the bodhicitta motivation, I'm doing this work to contribute my effort to the world. They also pay me. But if I put bodhicitta motivation with that, and then you do more selflessly, altruistic doing it, then it wouldn't say you are attached to other activities. Other activities means even you're outwardly looking like you're doing dharma works, but actually minus the bodhicitta. That would be the attachment to the other activities that lacks bodhicitta. If you have bodhicitta, then every activity is a practice. So that's why you need to distinguish what it is and what it isn't. I'll show you later on how you transform what other activities people might think. That's not dharma, that's not religious, that's not Buddhism. They may say that, but if you have the right intention, you can change all of that. So that's why I should tell you that the back of the page is called Transforming Neutral Karma into Positive Karma. So what we may otherwise think other activities, that's another, like staying at home. You stay home, don't you? Say when you're not at work, you're staying home, So you should not feel bad staying home. You should, instead of think, I'm home today, may all beings dwell in the city of liberation. See, very good prayer, When you say that, then your staying home is meaningful activity. And like sitting, may all beings attain diamond seat of meditation. So all these things you have there. These are, if you have diligence, you can actually transform ordinary neutral activities into dharma activities. But otherwise, if you might do outwardly even look like dharma things, but lacks the right motivation, lacks the bodhicitta, that would be the attachment to other activities. Then second is attached to postponing. We talked about already, Postponing. You will not do today, you will not do later, you will do a couple of hours later. Attachment to being satisfied with minor effort. Doing small things and you think that's satisfying, that's enough. And put a cap, as that's too much. You're going to do too many good things. Fear of doing too many good things in too short a time. So it's like a limiting oneself. And attached to being success, attached to success and fame in this life. If person is very diligent and then he is seeking some kind of fame and worldly benefit in this life, that's not very a paramita. Then it's because person is thinking for their own worldly benefit in this life. So that is therefore the diligence will be this VIRYA paramita is not possible if it is suffer from that worldly pursuit. Being attached to rewards in future lives. Now this is a hard one because most people, Buddhists, are told if they did this and that, they'll gain a benefit in future lives. But in Mahayana, you're not allowed to think like future benefit for your life benefit. Its benefit is for other sentient beings, more important than your future lives. So that's a unique Mahayana thing, And being attached to laziness, being attached to, if one is lazy, so one has to be free from the 7 attachments. One is laziness. Another is being attached to distraction, to lower vehicle and conceptual grasping, meaning you did something wonderful things, very lot of joyous effort, so forth, but still you are attached to saying, I did it. Conceptual grasping means I did it. So the sense of grasping to the I, that is the doer and performer. That kind of egotistical grasping is the biggest attachment, worst of all attachments. So one must think, oh, I did it, but I was supported by millions, directly and indirectly. I just happen to be there, but I don't deserve any recognition. And then almost one fears the danger of becoming oneself the limelight, saying I did it. Actually, you don't even say that I did it. No, I didn't anything. I'm just my part is so tiny role. It feels bad that I have to take. Genuinely thinking like that, then we may not suffer from it, being attached to the wrong conception of beings, conceptual grasping to I. The conceptual grasping is 3, I, the subject, and the action. Subject is whatever to whom or with what you did. Maybe you built a castle or something. Oh, don't you think this is great? Always showing what you did. Attached to the subject. Have your name engraved. Dangerous. People get attached to what they did. So, paramita is very difficult practice, isn't it? Due to this conceptual clinging, grasping. It's hardest. So that's paramita. Is a little hard. You have to have a lot of merit. If you don't have merit, you create these wrong views. Then your right effort become spoiled by this attachment to I did it, this is what I did. And then another one is the subject and I and the action. The teaching of VIRYA paramita. Oh, Mahayana teaching. That's fantastic. As if that's going to fix the whole world. Even that you shouldn't develop conceptual grasping. Even Mahayana teachings cannot be perfect unless there is a person who does it or the task there is to do, isn't it? So even Mahayana teachings is not inherently existing. Let alone the person who is doing it or task they did it. So it removes the danger of developing clinging to the subject and activity and the person. So that is called purity of 3 circles. Korsum Namradakpa in Tibetan. Literally, Korsum Namradakpa means purity of 3 circles. It really means purity of 3 segments, that each of the 3 segments are given equal credit to not one of them take precedent over the other 2. So they are all interdependently originated. So therefore, each of them are free of the false fallacy that one is the only thing. Because when people develop, I did it, look at this, all this teaching, then they're developing clinging, conceptual clinging to these things as that is a hardship. most people don't practice. They did very selflessly, but they still show a lot of. They always saying, "Look, this is what we did. This is what we did." You can't avoid doing that. You have to do many times. Then you realize, gosh, I shouldn't be doing this. Then you recognize slowly. Then you try to say, I don't know who did it, but quite a few of us did it. But please, I didn't do anything. It really inspires me, whoever did it. So not owning the kind of the as one is the creator. So easy to do it, because in the modern world everything is individual. I did it. Oh, my original work. Oh yeah, I did it. Oh, I wrote it by myself. I'm not allowed to receive any help. Oh, if the help is not your work. Oh, this sort of stuff. So much pressure to think you did it. You know why I didn't submit my PhD? And that was the reason. They said, oh, this is not your original work. My supervisor argued. And I said, how can it be? This is Buddha Dharma. How can I say this is my work and I have to, give credit to the sources. How can it be my original work? What are you talking about? So whole conceptual pattern of, it's wrong. They think it should be yours. And I realize how toxic it can be if you go into that direction. No wonder how they are just backstabbing each other up there. It's all about my work, my original work. You have to even sign that is your original work. And I can't do that. It just seems so arrogant, In Buddhist writings, you have to pay homage at the very beginning to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas or Manjushri before you were saying that. Even there's any good will come from it, it's because of the blessings of this, not of me. You have to put this is my original work or something. Oh, nobody can retrieve, nobody can copy, nobody can this without the permission of the author. Oh, look at that. So, recipe for grasping. The recipe for grasping there, Yeah, conventional world is very, very, challenging for spiritual practitioners. That's why one needs to feel some kind of disgust in the samsara entrapment, danger of trapped into this sense of I and my work, and it's good to do, but as soon as one starts grasping, then it spoils the benefit. And it's not about right or wrong; it's just not kind. When you think it's goodness of everyone, it has a lot of benefit to everybody. When it's someone's original work, without his authority, nobody can touch it. Somebody wrote to me from USA about in 94 or 5, 94, they were asking the permission of me so that they can read my thesis. Get a copy or something. And then I give permission, but they don't know where to get it from. They said, you have to give, then I have to. I submit the damn thing years ago. They should do whatever they like. But they said, no, they're not allowed to do that. They said they didn't have permission to print it or give it to anybody. I only submit it as a work, but they have no authority to. So there's so much areas of ownership and this and that. I didn't realize it's so copywriting and so much of ownership.
It's awful to think of all that information and knowledge just sitting in the vault of Menzies Library or something, or the National Library, and people are just reproducing the same stuff.
Yeah.
Because it just gets locked away. It's so selfish and greedy.
Yeah, even intellectual this is intellectual materialism, isn't it? Intellectual materialism, not kind of called intellectual property. Intellectual property. So short of all kinds of properties. Yeah, so it's a bit difficult, isn't it? Difficult. So one has to be very wary of this form of traps. So, if one is able if one successfully practices this freedom of 7 attachment, then you have necessarily attained 4 qualities. These 4 qualities is total freedom from laziness. How do you know total freedom from laziness? You feel very light. You feel productive and beneficial and useful, and therefore you feel your energy is very light. And it's actually very, very joyful, cause a lot of joy. Non-conceptual realization of ultimate reality. Yeah, non-conceptual ultimate reality. Ultimately, the effort you made is not inherently existing. Even effort is empty. So good to meditate, instead of thinking, I did a lot. It's about time I didn't even did a good break type of thing. No conceptual realization, non-conceptual realization, ultimate reality. Ultimate reality, everything's empty. Even the effort is empty. Effort is empty of inherent existence. So effort is you can't show the effort. You can see the trace of effort. You can't see the way the bird flew in the sky. They don't leave traces, If the bird flew in the sky, you should prove that he did. You should be able to measure you should be able to spot all the traces they left in the sky. All our effort is actually traceless. It's emptiness. Don't get attached to them. So that is high meditation, isn't it? That's like a transcendental VIRYA paramita. You wouldn't be going to people, places, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. You wouldn't mention a thing. People ask for the sake of them. You might say, oh yeah, I was involved a little bit there. Only a little bit. My effort was minimum. Almost like minimalist. All the good is not mine. That no clinging to it. But so non-conceptual realization of ultimate reality. Ultimately you realize emptiness of your effort. Because if it's your effort, then you have to see, where did you come from? You came from effort of somebody else. You came from effort of food, eating, clothes, washing. You did so many things that is not you that made the effort possible. You can give credit to all the sacks of rice you ate, all the tons of potato you ate. You have to give credit to all of that. Otherwise, you could not do it. Without those food and energy, we couldn't eat. Without the cup of coffee, I couldn't stay up alert. So I should give credit to the coffee. It's the coffee that made me to, or the drink, or the food, or the knowledge, or the inspiration of my blessed teachers, or whatever. Before that, I would not be able to do any effort. So through that, you therefore don't develop clinging, even to your effort and the result of it. You rejoice, small bit you played, but what you played is very, very nothing. And what others did it and inspire you is almost everything. That's such humility. Is a very powerful joy, cause of joy. Most people who are joy is they have humility. Arrogance does not make joy possible. It's not possible. It's just, these two doesn't go well together. Humility, you had the honor to serve a little bit, but actually you have pleasure of being part of it, but you played a very insignificant role. Others did more the things in the background, and you have performed only a small part of it. Such humility, that non-importance of self, non-importance of self, that's VIRYA paramita. Then we have non-conceptual realization, ultimate reality. And how do you know? Another achievement is diligent to fulfill wishes of others without any show of weariness. So that these qualities, you do things for others, with others. It's amazing. You never complain about things. You know, just doing, do regularly, and that's it. You know, what they say, did what had to be done. You know, the enlightened ones that did what had to be done, and they don't even mention how hard it was, or maybe it never was hard, because they're enlightened. Because it was emptiness anyway. How could emptiness be so hard? Because what they did is emptiness, so they wouldn't say, oh, I did this, oh, I did this, oh, I did this. So mean. You can count beans. There's no bean at all. Little about countable ones. So you just see the senselessness of counting the beans. Almost like we are just a little bit of a, we are just being able to do little things, small things to fulfill others' wishes. So happy that nobody noticed. So much even happy that nobody even mentioned you. So unimportant about us. So that's a selfless, that's a real selfless bodhicitta, yeah? That's a true work. But bodhisattvas discreetly do many things and then act as they never did it. But give credit to others. Oh, you did this. Oh, so nice. Oh, and then giving credit, then encourage other people. Then ripens other people. Encourages other people. Huh? That's bodhisattva must do those kind of discreet work behind the scene, and of course oneself skillfully delegated effort. It's not wearied or tired or exhausted. This is teaching. This is showing us to think like that. This is making us to reason and analyze like that. And then you don't do it. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to finish this by that. You don't even, your language itself is not so weary. Your language itself is so unaffected by the duties and activities. Why? They are joyous effort. And also you don't say, oh, I'm so delighted I got this duty, as if every other duty is boring and nobody wants to do. You don't discriminate. You do whatever you have to do. If you have to clean the toilet, you clean the toilet. If you have to put a castle, you can put a castle on. If you have to unveil the temple, you unveil the temple. If you have to dig the menu, you dig the menu. You know? So you do whatever you need to be done. Not picking and choosing, you know. That's a real diligence, you know. That's a real diligence. Lots of Tibetans, discreet, hidden yogis used to do this. At daytime they do really, really odd works, you know. Nobody like to do that job, but he does just that. You know, men digging manures. Shangten Chamber, his job is to, he goes and contract to clean people's toilet, you know. This is not a clean toilet flushing and just pouring some colored thing and then rubbing. That's not cleaning toilet. He actually have to scoop the stuff from the septic tank, you know, and then put in bucket. Put in his bucket, he carried this and then put it somewhere and go again. And that is that type of thing. Willingly and happily, you know. You know, and test it. If you have good intention, it's not what you do. It's what the intent is to do, yeah? The intention is to do. Yeah, willing to do. And most importantly, that you are doing is ripening beings through one's diligence, setting others on the path. So the person is doing that. Why? It ripens other people. it means matures other people. They realize, oh, it sets a very noble example. Yeah? You know, ripening beings through one's diligence. If one is diligent, other people also become diligent, isn't it? If nobody is diligent, nobody knows how to initiate. So if somebody is diligent, then it teaches others diligent, and those who mature each other and ripen. And then others who never was on the path is also on the path. Path of meditation, path of studying, path of contemplation, path of studying the practice, path of reading, path of reasoning, discussing intelligibly with others, and then others are on the path. They know they're on the path. How do you know? A lot of their suffering has been minimized, and they have been recognized. The cause of them has been recognized, and the ways to end them has been clearly shown, and they're even using some of the techniques that are reducing the problems. See, when I talk about diligence, we finish earlier than usual time. It wasn't deliberate. It just went like that. So, which means that you can read the back page, you know. It's very interesting. As I started reading that, sleeping. So we're going home, sleeping. Yeah? Sleeping. May all beings attain peaceful rest of clay light. So it's a good thought. You say that and then go to bed. So diligently go to sleep. Yeah. And when you rise in the morning, may all beings rise from the idleness of ignorance. So as soon as you rise straight away. And then when you put your clothes on, you know, may all beings wear the cloth of conscience and modesty. Yeah. Don't just wear clothes on, you know, like that. Just wear these clothes. May they not only dress the cloth that matches the collar with the shirt, and shirt with the tie, and all that sort of. Sure, you have to do that also to be presentable. But main thing is diligently thinking. May they wear the cloth of conscience and modesty. Be conscionable. And washing, you know. May all beings purify impurity of karma and defilements. You know, not just bodily dirt or not just sweat. You know, eating at the breakfast table. May all beings be sustained by food of wisdom or meditation. And that's what we say when we say the grace before eating food. So this is called diligence. You are diligently using every activity as a meaningful task. That is the diligence. You know. Drinking, may all beings quench their craving of the meaning of life, because most people don't know what's meaning of life. May they quench their thirst. They do the right things, drop the bad things, and modify themselves, and then feel quenched. Otherwise they remain so thirsty. They're drinking, still thirsty. Going out, may all beings depart from attachment to eternity. Yeah, going out, leaving home, you know, going out from office, going out. Always think of you are getting rid of attachment, and to reach the citadel, enlightenment. Walking, I'm sure you have to walk a couple of feet. May all beings follow the footsteps of the wise and kind. So they do walking meditation by doing that. Oh, I'm following the footsteps of the Buddha. Therefore, I should love these. You know, waiting. I'm sure you have to wait for something anyway. Waiting on the queue or waiting on the bus for someone to open the door or whatever it is. May all beings eventually find a virtuous guide to show the way. You know, in Nepal, when you go to the bank, you know, banks open, but they wouldn't exchange any money. Why? They're waiting for the main guy who always arrives late. Amazing. They should be the first one to arrive, isn't it? In third world countries, you know why they're third? Because the big people come late. They say Hakim Ayana. And Hakim Ayana means the head of the office hasn't showed up yet. It's a kind of a respectful thing to say, But actually it's a very shameful thing to say because it is lazy. Even you have to wait, you have to think like that. Sending, may all beings be aware of the good things they already have. Yeah? Receiving, may all beings be patient to destroy sufferings of others. Painting, if you're painting, may all beings be aware of each brush stroke of their thoughts. Because you're painting, Each stroke of the brush is painting, isn't it? Likewise, they should be mindful of each thought. Each thought they cultivate, they're actually painting their face of the day. And then all of a sudden they become very so lonely because they're thinking lonely thoughts. So they're aware, I shouldn't be thinking about this. And swimming. May all beings reach the shore of freedom that stops misery. Yeah? So that beings actually reach on the other shore. See? In this way, the working is, may all beings work happily to benefit other sentient beings. Yeah. Only that attitude would be good at work, isn't it? Thinking, may all beings know that their thoughts are merely empty. Very good, this one. If you're thinking a lot, you shouldn't go too much intense. All thoughts are empty anyway, so... Good meditation. Good right effort. This is diligent practice about your thought. Entering the house or entering building, may all beings enter the holy path of Dharma. Yeah. And exiting, when you're getting out something, yeah, may all beings be released from prison of selfishness. Yeah. And so on. Meeting, may all beings meet others to bring mutual benefit. Yeah. Mutual benefit. Parting, may all beings sever their bonds of attachment and grasping. When you're parting something, it's very important. We part many things, isn't it? Like we'll be parting in a minute. And you just think like, just for the week. Say if you're parting from someone or something that you really couldn't handle it, just think, may all beings sever their bonds of attachment and grasping, which is so real, Driving, may all beings ferry others across the ocean of suffering. When you're driving people, when you're driving yourself. If you're driving others, it's a little bit easier. Running, may all beings escape from the enemy within of defilement. Yeah. People are running, but usually they're not running from nothing. So if they're running, thankfully this time they can run from enemy of affliction. Yeah. Playing, may all beings realize life is an illusory game. So don't take life too seriously. Life is a game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Actually, both is a game. Even the winner is a game, even losing is a game. Don't take too seriously. Throwing things, may all beings discard their negative habits. Yeah? Holding, may all beings hold the triple gem as dear as their own lives. If you're holding on your something, you should think, why am I holding on to this? Oh, this represents triple gem. Yeah, if you're holding triple gem as much as your whatever, it's good. Shaking, if you're shaking, may all beings disentangle themselves from negative influences. You're shaking the blanket or whatever. Don't just shake the blanket for the sake. Just shake something else with it. Writing, may all beings understand the message of spiritual knowledge. Sneezing, may all beings not inhale evil obstacles from without, because lots of people are inhaling bad thoughts. And so sneezing is stopping. That's why when people sneeze, we say, bless you. So that you don't let anything come in you. Praising, may all beings perceive the good quality in simple things. No. When you have seen the good in simple things, you can always something to praise, You always say something nice, praiseworthy. It makes people happy straight away. Excreting, when you're sitting on the toilet bowl, may all beings relinquish the cause of the illness. Well, it's pretty painful if you don't go to the toilet, isn't it? It's pretty true, you know. It's such a relief. So don't make your toilet visit empty practice. It's emptiness of practice. It is also practice. Scrubbing, you know, you're cleaning toilet or bench top or whatever. May all beings remove stains of negative emotion joyously. Yeah. So this came from sutra, you know. I'm not making this up. There's a sutra called Choyu Yonso Takbendo, means sutra is purifying all spheres of activities. All activities are transformed. Why? Diligently, by thinking like this. Yeah? This is diligence, practice of diligence. Speaking and also listening, may all beings hear the truth of reality as it is. When you're listening to something. Doesn't have to be teaching. Could be any listening you should see. Even they're listening to this, but in the ultimately may they all hear the truth, reality as it is. Speaking, may all beings expound the truth, wisdom eloquently. Climbing up the steps or whatever, may all beings ascend to the peak of enlightenment. You know, every time you go upstairs, may all beings reach the peak of enlightenment. Oh, we've done it. And then you come down, of course, when you're descending. May all beings rescue others who have fallen on the ground. You're coming down to rescue them. See? This is small, skillful games. That's a reminder. If you can think like this again, it's a diligence it's making you think, you know. Because you're so diligent, you're making every effort, right effort. There's no effort, boring, oh, I have to go upstairs again, type of thing. Can you please go and get that from upstairs? Oh, do I have to do that again? Not so. Happily. That's a diligence. That's a diligence. Crying. Sometimes you're crying for nothing. May all beings cry for others to renounce egoism. Yeah, have a good cry and diligent cry. Few diligent cry happening. Very good. Cry meaningfully. You know, don't waste a drop of tear for nothing. Now you're all laughing. So we are all laughing. May all beings see the absurdity of sufferings. How absurd is it? People making themselves suffer. And they think it's somebody else doing it. So absurd, isn't it? So, therefore laugh. Absurd. Stupid. And smiling. You can see smiling now. May all beings experience joy of being on the right path. Yeah. See, it's very joyous effort. That was the most joyous effort of all the sessions. So, copy this, put on the fridge, or various places. Yeah, this is very, very, very special. Okay, so we're gonna conclude here. Dedication of merits on page 11 and 12. By the merit of this, may I attain the state of omniscience, defeat the evil enemies of defilements. May I liberate all sentient beings from the ocean of samsara oceans, turbulent waves of birth, all this sickness and death. Tejo damjo renje jendala, dage sana daye kantoba, dene joga tejo dambeje, By listening to the excellent and precious Mayan teachings, whatever boundless merit I have acquired, may all sentient beings become precious and stainless vessel to retain the excellent and precious Mayan teaching. Chanjo Zanjo Rinpoche Mhaje Bana Jejoje Nyeba Nyamba Mebaya Gone Gonde Bewaya. May the supreme and precious bodhicitta take birth if you had not done so. Where it has been born, may increase our downward brandy without degeneration. Thank you.